Okay, I'm going to do a video here to show you how to, now that you've got some content you've created, you've recorded some video with a camera or your phone, and you've got some audio and some pictures and stuff like that. I'm going to show you how you put it all together using free software called Shotcut, which is a linear video editor. So first of all, whenever I have a project, just so I can keep things organized, I create on my computer, I create a folder for that project, and I have a folder here. That's where my project, my Shotcut project will be. And this renders folder, after I've finished creating the project in Shotcut, I can't put that anywhere else, like up on YouTube, or use it in a PowerPoint presentation, or just show it on a laptop or on a projector. I need to export it out to a video file of some type and format, and that's referred to as rendering. So when I export it out, this is the folder where I'm going to put all those exports or renders. And I may do it several ways. I may do an HD version for uploading to YouTube. I might do a lower resolution standard def version that I can email out to people. So I might render it more than one way, another way for mobile or something like that. And I have another folder here which is media, and that's where I keep all the media that I'm going to be using for this video project. So I've got the video that I shot out on the on our patio with all the gear and everything. I have another short video here which is a slider shot that I'd created up north that I want to insert into the middle of that video. I've got an audio track here which is some music I'm going to be using in the video at the beginning and at the end during the credits and titles and everything. I have credit roll here. Now this is just a text file, and this is where I put all my all the text for my credits that are going to be scrolling at the end of the video, and also my title. So it's a lot easier for me to put it all in here and get it all typed out and spell checked and everything, make sure that everything is right. And there's one I missed. And that way I can just copy and paste this into the video editing software when I get to the point where I'm going to be putting in the credits. So that's what this file is for. Now I also have some graphic files. So I have a this is my cover art, my splash screen, and that's what I use for titles at the beginning, and also when I'm doing the credits at the end. I also have two others. I have one here that has 75% gray over top of that same graphics file. That's to sort of dull the background. So if I'm going to put a title here, it stands out a little bit better against the background, and because the background's not so bright. And I also have this one where I just remove the Ontario Water Garden Horticulture Society at the top, so that as the credits scroll up this screen, it looks a little bit better because that stuff at the top is missing. So that's what those graphic files are for. Now I'm using another free program called Active Presenter, and that's it right over here. That's the program I'm using to record this screen right now, so I can create a video and you can see what I'm doing as I'm editing in the movie. And Active Presenter is a free program, and when you launch it you get this screen here, and here it is, record screen as video. So you click that and then you get this screen, and here you can tell it to record the full screen, which I'm doing right now. You can adjust the microphone, which microphone or what sound is recording, whether you want to record system sound or just a microphone. And of course when you hit the record button, it'll give you a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and then this screen goes away and it's just your regular desktop, and it'll record away until you tell it not to. When you want to stop recording, you come down here and here's the Active Presenter icon. You click that, and as you can see it's recording, and I just hit that to stop recording and it'll stop recording. So we're going to make that go away because we want to continue recording. So let's get started with Shotcut. So here's Shotcut. Now I want to start a project. I have a default folder set up for all my video projects, so I'm going to put one in here for editing in Shotcut, and this is called Gear. So I'm going to select that folder for my project, and I'm going to call this project Gear. And video mode is automatic. I just let it, it's just going to default to 1080p 24-25 frames per second, which is what I want. I could, if I wanted to, choose a different format if I wanted to, but I just leave it as default, and it'll default to 1080p 25 frames per second, which is what I want. So I'm going to click start. And now I'm into my project, and it doesn't look like much. So first thing I need to do is I need to go to my playlist. This playlist here, this is where all the content is that I'm going to want to use in the project. So what I need to do is I need to open up that folder where all my media is, and I want to grab, I'm going to click the first, shift, click the last one. I don't need, hold down the control key, I don't need that, I don't need that. I need those 3 graphics files, and I need the 2 videos, and I need the audio. So I'm just going to drag them over to there. And here comes all my media. So there's all my media. Now, Shotcut is what we call a linear editor. So down here we're going to build a timeline. And we're going to be able to drop things onto that timeline and build up our video as we go from start to finish. So I could just drag something down. What I want to do is I want to come here and I want to do track operations. I want to add a video track. There's my first video track, and I want to do it again, track operations, and I want to add an audio track. So there's my audio track, and there's my video track. So the first thing I want to do is I want to grab this title screen and I want to drag that down to my timeline. And now that's on my timeline. So that's where my title is going to show up. I don't want it to show up at the very beginning. I want this screen to show up, then I want the title to kind of fade in, and then I want it to fade into my shot with my video. So I'm going to grab this, I'm going to drag another one down. And you'll see in a couple of minutes why I've done that. And then here's my main video. And there's my main video. So let's see what this looks like. By the way, this is where I preview everything, and this is the player. So obviously that plays backwards, that plays forward. These 2 buttons here, this one here and this one here, this sends it back to the last cut, and this sends it to the next cut. So I can really quickly jump through a project. So let's see what that looks like. Doesn't look like a whole lot right now. Okay, well, we're getting somewhere. So let's go back here and select that one. So here's where I want to put a title on it. I want the title of my video to show up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to filters, and I'm going to add a filter. So I want to add text. So if these are all the ones that I've used fairly recently, and if what I want isn't there, these are actually my favorites. And if the one I want isn't here, I can just search here. So I want to search for text, and I want simple text, and I'm actually going to make that, create that as a favorite as well. So I want to use simple text. That way it'll show up next time. So what I want to do here is, instead of a time code, I want to put content creation gear. That's going to be my title. Now that's way too big. The typeface that I use for all this stuff is a typeface called Bookman Old Style, and I want to use the same typeface. So I'm going to come in here, and instead of Verdana, I'm going to choose Bookman. Bookman Old Style, and I want it bold, and I actually want to make that a little bit smaller. Maybe a 72 will work. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I don't want it to be right on the bottom. I want to bring it up a little bit here. And what I also want to do is, I don't want it to be white because it doesn't show up. So I'm going to change the color here. I'm going to change the color to red. And that has a yellow drop shadow. I can't do a drop shadow in here, but I can do, I'll do an outline. And I'll make that outline a little bit bigger. Maybe I'll make the outline yellow instead. That's a little too bold. That's a little bit better. And actually, I think I'm going to go back to font and do it bold italic. There, so it looks a little bit more like that up there. So that's what I want to do. So let's go back to the very beginning and see what that looks like. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, I don't want that really sharp where the title just bang appears like that. By the way, that box around it won't be in the final video. You'll just see the title. And I don't want this transition between this frame and this frame, this frame and this frame are what we call jump cuts. We don't want them because they're very, very sharp. So what we want is we want a nice smooth transition. So we kind of want to start with this screen, and then when we get to this screen, we want this to kind of fade in, and then we want it to kind of fade from that screen into my video. So how we do that is we add a transition. And the way we do that is I'm going to come down here, I'm going to grab that frame, and I'm going to hold down the left mouse button to hold on to it, and I'm going to push it so it overlaps the previous clip. That there is my transition, and it defaults to what we call a cross dissolve. So what that looks like is, see, the one fades into the other. So that's what I want, because that way my title now comes in. I'm here for, and by the way, there's my time. So I'm in here for like 3-4 seconds. My title comes in, and at 7 seconds, I get into my video. So I'm happy with that. Now on my video, because obviously I had to press record on the camera or the phone or whatever, and then get over into the shot where I'm supposed to be and sit down, and of course wet my whistle, because I'm going to be talking for a while. Okay. And then I actually get started. So there's a bunch of time here that I don't really want. So what I want to do is I'm selecting this clip because I want to work on it. So right about here, I want to split this clip. So right there, I selected this clip. So I'm going to come here to my split tool. I'm going to split the track. So now I have the part I want to keep and the part I don't want to keep. Now I can right click and do cut, or I can just hit the delete key on my keyboard. So now, okay, I didn't want to cut too close to where I start talking. I want a little bit of silence here because I want to do a transition from this title page to my clip. So again, I'm going to grab my clip and I'm going to push it in a little bit. See how that looks. Okay, today I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to come up here, I'm going to go back to my playlist because I want to see my media. I have this audio track, Drops of H2O. It's the background music that I use when I'm producing videos for the Garden Society. And I want that music playing in the background during the titles and the introduction. So I'm going to grab that and I'm going to drag it down onto my audio track. So now let's go back to the beginning and hit play. Okay, today I want to focus on there. Now obviously I don't want all this music playing through my whole video because that's going to be kind of obnoxious. So what I want to do is whoops, I went too far. So right about there where I start talking, I want the music to be gone. So I'm going to select my audio track, and again I'm going to come here to the split tool and split that track. or clip. So now I got the audio I don't want and the audio I do want. So let's select the audio I don't want, hit the delete key, and it's now gone. So now what does that look like? Okay, today I want to... That's pretty good, but I don't like the way that music stops so suddenly. So I want to select that clip. I'm going to bring the head back here because I want to see it. So I want to select that clip, and I'm going to come back to filters, and I want to add a filter, and I want to add fade out audio. Now you can see that little gray triangle there. That's the fade out and how long it is. And up here it shows it's only 1 second. So I want to increase that. I want to make that up to 2 seconds. 2 seconds. So here my fade out starts just before the transition, and then it'll fade out to 0. So let's see how that sounds and looks. Okay, today I want to... Let's try that again. Okay, today I want to focus on gear and camera options, what some of their benefits and everything are for capturing content, video or still, mostly. Okay, I like that. So now I've got to go find, there's an area in this video where I want to split the track, the clip, and I want to insert that other video that I made into the middle of it. And I need to find it. And of course, it's a pretty long clip, so it's going to be hard to find. Now, this area in the program here, this little minus magnifier and plus magnifier and this slider, this is for adjusting how big this timeline shows in the computer. So I can zoom way out so I can see the entire timeline, or I can zoom way in so the timeline is really, really big. So I want to zoom out a bit. I don't need to see the whole thing, but and these times here, these are, you know, the times that it is on the timeline, and that's in hours, minutes, and seconds. So that's 5 seconds, that's 10 seconds. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. And I know it's somewhere around 15 minutes in, 15 and a half minutes in, so I'm going to take a shot that it's here. Did you notice the difference in that shot? Okay, that's after, just after. Here. Okay, what I want to do is, I'm going to put a marker there, so it makes it easy to find it later. What I want to do is, there's a thing that you can use for cameras. It's called a slider, and I have one. It's very inexpensive, and I use it. It makes an interesting. You can get some interesting effects when you do a shot with a slider, and I want to put that in. The neat thing about sliders is it gives you a really unique perspective on. And the camera. That's a slider. I can have it go away and toward, or up and down. The neat thing about that is that I can have it go back and forth. I can have it go away. Slider is something not a lot of people know about that you can use for cameras. And the idea of it is I can mount a camera on that, and this camera slides side to side, back and forth. Or forward, back, or up and down, or at an angle, or whatever I want, and you can get some neat effects. And I have a slider shot that I created, and in my media, I have this slider shot here. This is a slider shot. And I want to insert this into the middle of this movie so that people can see what a slider shot looks like. That's quite a different perspective than you would normally get by panning the camera from side to side. So let me go back to my video, and I'll show you what I've done here. Right about to get an idea of what a slider. I'm going to go back a little bit more. That I like to use. It's a good example of the effect that it has. I shot one up the lake, up at the cottage several years ago. That I like to use. It's a good example of the effect that it has. So I'll stick that little clip into this video so you can see what it looks like, to get an idea of what a slider shot looks like. In fact, I think I'm going to stick it in right about here. Okay, now what I've done is, this is where I want to split this clip and insert that video. So notice what I've done is, I've said where I want to put it, but then I've paused and kind of froze for a few seconds. I'm going to stick it in right about here. I want that few seconds because I want to be able to have a transition between this clip and the one I'm going to insert. So right here is where I'm going to split it. I've selected the track. I'm going to go to my split tool. And now I have the part before and the part after. And I'm going to move this away. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to grab my slider shot. And I'm going to drag it in. Whoops. I need to move this further away. So now I can grab my slider shot and I can drop it in here. So here. Now there's part of the slider shot at the beginning I don't want. This part here where it starts to move, that's what I want. So I want to go back to the beginning of this clip. I want to pause right where it starts to move. Right there. And I'm going to go back just a little bit. So I want to split this clip right here. And I want to get rid of this part. So now I want to take this, I want to drag it over here. And I want to drag it in. Now notice there's a time that shows up beside my mouse thing here. That's telling me how long that overlap is. So I want it to be about 1 second. So let's see what that looks like. In fact, I think I'm going to stick it in right about here. And that's a slider shot. So now I want to take this clip and I want to see how this looks. So there's my second of transition. So I'm going to pull these together, and again I'm going to grab this track and I'm going to push it into the other one for about 1 second. And let's see how that looks. Did you notice the difference in that? Okay, I like that. Now, these transitions default to a cross dissolve, and I always use that during the credits because that way one screen fades into the other. But sometimes I like to make things look a little bit nicer. So let's select that transition, transition there. And two ways I can do it. I can right click, I can go to properties, or I can come up here and I can go to properties. Now, these are all the different transitions that come default with Shotcut. And what I want to do is I want to use, let's try barn door horizontal. This is going to give me a preview of what that would look like. I like that one. So I'm going to change that to barn door vertical. And I usually like to use the same, if I'm going into a clip and then I'm coming back out of it, I like to use the same transition on both. So that's barn door vertical. Now I'm going to select that one, and I'm going to go to properties, and I'm going to go barn door vertical as well. So now let's see how that looks. In fact, I think I'm going to stick it in right about here. Did you notice the difference in that shot? There, I'm happy with that. Fairly stable, but okay, so that's pretty much everything I need to do as far as that. So now I need to go all the way to the end, because now I want to finish my clip properly. Again, notice I froze for a few seconds because I need to do a cut and a transition. And now, of course, I got to get up and I got to go press stop record on the camera. So I need to trim the end of this clip. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for downloading. We'll see you around. Bye for now. That's good about there. So again, I want to select that clip. I'm going to do my split tool. That's what I want to keep. That's what I want to get rid of. Delete. And it's gone. So now I'm going to come back to my playlist because I want my media. Here's why I have all these extra screens. So first thing I want to do is I want to grab my regular title background, and I want to drop that in. And this, let me make that a little bit bigger so I can see which is which. So I want to grab that, and I want to drag it onto the end of that. And I want to grab the 75% gray no text, put it on after that. And then I want to grab that one again, put it on after that. And then I want to grab that and put it on at the end. I know that's kind of complicated, but here's what I want to do. I want to go from my video, and I want to use cross dissolve transition. So I want my video to fade into that screen, which will fade into that screen. It's got that gray, so I can start having text on it. It'll fade into that, and then the credits will scroll up across this screen. Then it'll fade back to that, and then it'll fade back to that, and the video will come to an end. So I'll have this nice smooth transition from my video through all these screens to the very, very end. And I'll also have some music playing underneath it. So let's get started. This one here, my first screen, I can just drag it over to about a second. And this one here, pull it over, I can drag it over to about 1 second. I'm not worried about being too precise. This one here, I can drag it over, and I pull this over to about 1 second. I'm not going to pull these two over yet. In fact, I'm going to pull these way out of the way, and you'll see why in a minute. So let's see what I got so far. For now. Now, this is the clip where my credits are going to be scrolling. So I want to add the credits to this, and they're going to come up from the bottom, and they're going to scroll off the top of the screen. The length of this clip determines how fast those credits scroll, the length of this clip and also the length of the credits. If I've got a long list of credits that have to scroll, and this is a short clip, they're going to go really, really fast. Likewise, if this is a long clip, they'll go a lot slower. But if I have only a few credits, and this is a really long clip, then they're going to go really, really slow. So you got to kind of play with this a little bit. So, by the way, when I start pulling this around, You see those times next to my cursor? That tells me how long the clip is. Right now it's only let me move that out of the way. So I think I need this to be about 25 seconds. So let's put it about here. Okay, so now I need to get the credits on here. Now, sometimes Shotcut messes up and I have to do this a couple of times, but what I want to do here is I want to come back to filters, and this time I want to add, but I want to add rich text because I want it to do something. So, actually I need to be on that. So here's my rich text. So I'm going to come back to my notepad. This is all my credits. And I'm going to select it all and do Control C to copy. Then I'm going to come here and paste. So there's all my credits. So now, obviously, white on gray isn't going to show up really, really well, so I want to fix that. So I'm going to select all, and I'm going to change it to red. And I'm going to make it bold, and I'm going to center it, and I'm going to select Bookman Old School. I could make it bold italic, but it might be a little bit hard to read, so I'm going to use the right font, but I'm just going to make it as bold. And it defaults to 72. Oh, let's see how this looks. What I want to be careful about is things that wrap because they're too long. And some of these are too long. So first of all, what I want to do is I want to widen this box out to be the full width of the screen. That barely fits. That doesn't. So I want to come here again, and I'm going to change this to 60. See how that looks. There, that one doesn't wrap anymore, neither does that one. So I'm happy with that. They all fit nicely. Okay, so let's see what our credits look like. Whoops, I forgot something. On that rich text, I need to add here, I need to add scroll up. Oh, and I forgot to do something else as well. So when I create the rich text, it creates this box that you see scrolling up. And if you notice, the box isn't tall enough for all the credits. So the box scrolls up, but we don't see all the credits. So what I need to do is, normally I don't play around too much with these numbers over here. These are just the position of the box in the window. And the background size and everything, but the background size, that's the size of this box. So the background size for this box right now is, the width is 1923 pixels, which is pretty much the full width of the screen. The full width of the screen is 1920 and it's 1080 high. The height here is only 864. I want to make that a lot bigger, so I'm going to select that. Oh, I know what I got to do. I got to take this. I got to take that off. So now I can select this. So I want to make that a lot bigger. It's 864 now. I'm going to make it 10,000. Just so I know I got lots of room. And it went and did it to me. sometimes it does this, it changes the window sizes. So I'm going to change the position down to 1. So that's right to the left of the screen. The width is 1920 and I've made it 10,000. So it's plenty long for the credits. So let's see what we got now. Well, I got to put scroll up back on. So I'm still 1, 1920, 10,000. There. I'm not going to get into explaining copyright in this video. That will be for another time. So there's my credits. Now, you saw how fast that was. If I make this a whole lot longer, you see how they go slower? And if I make this a whole lot shorter, they go faster. Actually, they may just cut off. Yeah, they just cut off. So there's the end of my credits. And here's where I want that other screen to fade in. So I'm going to grab that other screen. I'm going to drag it in here. And I'm going to drag it over for just about a second. Let's see what that looks like. So now I want Greater Toronto Water Garden to fade in right here. There it is, there's that. And now I can grab that screen and I can bring that over and I can bring that in for about a second. It tries to jump to that, so I'm going to move that out of the way. Okay. Now I also want this one to be a little bit longer. And you'll see why in a second. Okay. I'm happy with that. Now, I want that music to be playing underneath the credits. So I'm going to come back, get this out of the way. Come back here to my playlist. And I'm going to grab that audio track, Drops of H2O, and I'm going to drag it down here onto my audio track. So let's see what that looks like. Bye for now. I actually want the music to start right about here, so I'm going to drag it back a little bit. We'll see you around. Bye for now. Okay, I like that. Okay, I'm happy with that. So let's deal with the end. Obviously I don't need all this music playing. So I'm going to go back to there. That's the end of my video. And I'm going to select the audio track and I'm going to split it here. There's my split. There's what I want to keep. There's what I don't want to keep. Delete. So now what I'm going to do is, and I'm going to zoom in to this track a little bit. So I want my audio and the video to fade out at the end. So I'm going to select this clip and I'm going to come back here to filters and I'm going to add a filter, fade out video, and there's my fade out, and it's only 1 second, so I'm going to push that up to 2 seconds. Click, 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 And I'm going to select my audio track, and I'm going to add a filter, fade out audio, and push that up to 2 seconds. Click, 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 click. And let's see, you can see that gray triangle. That's my fade out. So let's see how that looks. There, I'm pretty happy with that. So there's my video created. Okay, so I got my project created now. I'm going to save this right now. Normally I'd save this a lot more frequently during a project. I've had projects that have taken a lot longer for me to edit them and put them together. I've had multiple video tracks that I'm cutting back and forth to, multiple audio tracks, and it can sometimes get pretty complicated. So I usually save more often, but this is a pretty quick and easy one. So anyway, I'm going to save the project just in case things go south. Now, what I've got right now is a Shotcut video project. I don't have a video file. So in order to do that, I need to export this or render it out. So we're going to choose export. Here's all the different ways that are built into Shotcut that we can export a file. I can export it into all kinds of different video formats, HD, 1080p, 720p, various frames per second, MPEGs, ProRes, which is a video editing program, DVD format, so I could record straight to a DVD, various HD formats, camcorder formats. There's even alpha channels if I was going to use this for like a professional TV production. I could do that as well. Slide decks, all kinds of stuff. Now they have one for YouTube. That is pre-configured to give me a 1920 pixel by 1080 pixel, which is 1080p as we know, 1920 by 1080, 25 frames per second, which is perfect to upload to YouTube. You can also use it to view it on your laptop or a mobile device, put it on your website, use it as a presentation during one of your meetings. So we're going to use YouTube, and we're going to export the file. It's going to ask me where I want to put the file. Now I have, where did I put this one? There's my project. I want to put it in renders, and there's my file name, and it's an MP4 file. And up here, here's my job that's going out to render. It takes a few seconds to get started. It's going to take a few minutes actually for it to render it, because what it's doing now is it's taking all the videos and the titles and the graphics and the audio and everything, and it's compressing it using what they call a codec, which is a compressor decompressor codec, and then putting a wrapper on it, which is the MP4. So that is so that when a computer gets that file, it knows what the file is and it knows how to decode it so it can show it without the file being too big. There's lots of different compressions and lots of different wrappers, so it needs to know, and it's going to convert this file to that and save it out. I'm not going to make you watch this whole thing. Eventually this is going to turn into a green box with a check mark in it. Right now it says it thinks it needs another 11 minutes to render this file. It's going to actually take more than that. It's usually about half the time of the full video, with this full video being about 22 minutes. It's probably going to be it's not going to be 11 minutes. It's probably going to be a bit more. So anyway, I'm going to let this render out, and I will come back when it's done. And there we are, we're done. We've got our green box with a check mark in it, and it took a total of almost 16 minutes to render that file. So we've completed rendering the file. Again, I'm going to save the project again. Now let's go look at our rendered file. So we're going to come back up here, and we're going to go to renders, and there's our rendered file. So let's take a look at it. Okay, today I want to focus on gear and camera options, what some of their benefits with that. So let's see if we can go find that. It's not going to pack expensive, heavy. It's angled. The background, especially the background, is way off. What a slider shot looks like. In fact, I think I'm going to stick it in right about here. Did you notice the difference in that shot? How the background so I'm happy with that. Stable, but the foreground moved. No, the rest of it's just me yakking about stuff. Lighting and stuff like that. I think that covers about everything. So let's see how it wraps up. Again, credits and everything at the end. Thanks for watching. Thanks for downloading. We'll see you around. Bye for now. See here why I use the 75% gray, because it makes it a lot easier to read the credits. Okay, I'm happy with that. So that is how you create a video using Shotcut. Again, Shotcut is a free video editing program. It's a linear editor. It's very, very powerful. It is, I used Adobe Premiere, which is a professional video editing program and very expensive. I used that for years. I own a license for it. And I've started using Shotcut now all the time because it's free and it's pretty much just as powerful as Adobe Premiere is. There's really nothing I've found that I can't do in Premiere. That I can do in Premiere and I can't do in Shotcut. There are some transitions that I don't have in Shotcut that I do have in Premiere, but that's about it. By the way, the other nice thing I like about Shotcut is, if there's anything you ever want to do in Shotcut and you're trying to figure out how to do it and you can't seem to figure it out, all you do is open up a browser. Just type what it is you're looking for in a browser, and you are probably going to find lots and lots and lots of videos and from the Shotcuts forums on how to do what it is that you want to do. There's lots and lots and lots of support.
All right, gentlemen, fall in.
Oh, let's get that ad. Hurry up.
Credits. So how do I do that in the Shotcut video editor? That's exactly it. That would be my and add a few.
So again, she's basically doing what we did.
Like this. So these are my.
And there's lots of different ones in here. So it's really easy to find lots and lots and lots of help. If you go out to the Shotcut website, there are lots and lots and lots of tutorials that they have from introduction to basic stuff to doing transitions, filters, all kinds of stuff. There's lots and lots of YouTube videos on how to do all kinds of various things and lots of other tutorials. So there's lots of support and that and resources for Shotcut out there. So it's a really good program to use for you if you want to use it to edit videos and create content. You can also very easily, for instance, as an example, the Garden Society, we have a photo contest every year, and I do a slideshow at the end of the, after the contest has been judged, I do a slideshow with the winners, you know, for second, third, and all the different categories. And it's quite easy to use Shotcut to create that slideshow, and I can even put credits, you know, a title at the beginning, credits at the end, and all that sort of stuff, and do a nice professional look. If you want to go out to our website, go out to our YouTube channel, and you'll see some of the stuff that I've done using Shotcut up there on the channel. So that's about all I had right now. If you need anything else, feel free to reach out. As I always say at the end of my videos, thanks for watching, thanks for downloading. We'll see you around. Bye for now.